All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Michael Walters. This is Mike Talks NY Sports. Well, today I am going to be talking a little bit about the New York Knicks and their recent road win. And I'm going to elaborate on any future plans that other teams like the Nets, and also I may talk about the future of the Giants and their current coaching search, and may even talk a little bit about the New York Jets. So let's get this show on the road. All right, right now I'm gonna start the episode a little bit differently. I'm gonna start with the Jets and the Giants. Okay, they say the Giants already have an interim head coach. One of the assistants took over. But the Giants, they still have a lot of work to do. Like they are still looking for a coach. Well, what I said in a previous episode is that the Giants should really take the approach, like the same approach that the New York Knicks did when they were searching for their own coach. Because I'm not going to lie, sometimes when you rush in to hire someone, you're not going to get the best results out of that particular individual. So I would just tell them take the time they need to find a new coach. Just wait until the end of the season. Yes, they are at a bad spot right now, but the prediction is that they're not making the playoffs. And the thing is, maybe in the offseason, I would say try to persuade Russell Wilson to at least stay. Because I know Wilson didn't have the best relationship with Dable, but Dable had his problems. So maybe try to keep Russell Wilson on the team to at least give Dart some tips. Because Russell Wilson won a Super Bowl years ago. So he knows how hard it is to win in the NFL. And maybe, well, so far, he kind of does look like he has a good influence on Jake. I think it's Jason Dart. Yeah, like he's a good influence on him. So the kid is actually he's growing now to be a good quarterback. Well, it's just his first season, but he's already looking a little bit better than Daniel Jones. Well, I'm not gonna lie, Daniel Jones looking like an actual superstar on the Colts. And I'm like, what happened when you were on the Giants? But it is what it is. But yeah, so it's good to see that Dart is coming along, and also Scatterboo looking like the like a like Barkley 2.0 in a way, but he's a little bit stronger. But if they both can stay healthy, because I think they're injured right now, if they both can stay healthy, the Giants can go. They could go anywhere in the future. But well, obviously they're two offensive players. They need more defensive linemen. I'm not gonna lie, some of the defense on the Giants be just terrible sometimes. But if they tweak up their defense and if they get a better coach, maybe they can be one of those surprises of next season. And then now I'm going to go to the New York Jets. Okay, I'm not going to lie, the Jets are one of the worst teams in the NFL right now. Like, I don't know how to sum up the offseason into this season. Like, you signed Justin Fields to be your quarterback. You get all these new players, and your team still sucks. Like, yo, even in the trade deadline, they trade away one of their best defensive linemen in Sauce Gardner. And I'm like, why you give him up? Well, yes, they claim they have all these first round picks. I'm not gonna lie, the Jets, if y'all continue to have that same mentality where you're just going to tank every damn year for a good high pick, you're never going to go anywhere in this NFL. You're just going to forever going to be a loser franchise. I'm not going to lie. The Giants looking like they're making better like choices for the future than the Jets. Like, I don't know. New York Jets, they're in a very peculiar situation right now. So I don't know. My prediction is that they're just gonna continue to lose games for the rest of the season, try to see if they could get the first pick in next year's draft. I don't know, but the Jets are just going to continue to be free falling down those standings. All right, so right now I'm going to be talking about the Brooklyn Nets. Well, like how I have spoken, I have practically reiterated this almost every single episode. The Brooklyn Nets have always been bad. They recently won their second game of the season. I'm like, yeah, you won against the Wizards. Like, the Wizards are the worst team, one of the worst teams this season in the NBA. And I'm like, Brooklyn just I'm not gonna lie, they are clearly in tanking mode. Their record is, I think, 2-13. That is just bad. But I don't know. I just feel like Brooklyn, that, like, for example, they have no like star players. The only person on that team that's actually like making a good like impact is really Michael Porter Jr. I'm not gonna lie, the fact that he got traded to the Nets for Cameron Johnson. Well, they say Cam Johnson is not really playing his best in Denver. They say his efficiencies are down. Like, he's like shooting. He was like someone who was shooting like damn near 40% from three, but now he's like shooting like 33% from three. So he kind of like regressed a little bit. But I think part of it is because, he spent his last couple of years in Brooklyn. He got, comfortable in the East, and now he's back in the West. So it's like just a readjustment period for him. But I feel like he'll do fine because Denver's not doing too bad. I feel like he's going to eventually find his rhythm over there. Yeah, but it looks like Michael Porter Jr., he's adjusting very well. The only problem is that he's a scorer on a losing team. Like what I said from previous episodes, Michael Porter Jr., if you want to get out of Brooklyn, show the world that you can be a reliable number one option. It doesn't matter that you're playing on a terrible team. I've seen a lot of people play on terrible teams and they end up being superstars on better teams. Just take this year or two to build up your stats. I think they say right now he's like averaging over 20 points per game, which of course is actually not that bad. Like, take this time, make yours literally become a better offensive player. Well, in Denver, he was a 3 and D, but now he's really the main option. If he starts having big games against better teams, even though I feel like the Nets are still going to lose those games, he can build up his trade value. Maybe in the offseason, maybe a team like the Celtics may want to pick you up because, I know the Celtics are clearly tanking the season. They're not going to, well, they actually are above 500 right now, but I'm not going to lie. I don't think it's going to last long. But maybe a team like the Celtics can pick you up in the offseason because Tatum going to come back from his injury, and Boston may want to look for better players, like more shooters or better defensive players. But that's all I'm saying about the Nets is that just find just find a way to get Michael Porter Jr. the rock every single time because clearly he needs it. He wants to score, but he's just playing on a terrible team where everyone wants to score. But all I can say for the Brooklyn Nets is just continue to lose games because I'm not going to lie, they're not going to win any games. And the Knicks are going to play them next week in Barclays Center. We already know what's going to happen. The Knicks fans are going to take over Barclays and they're going to be booing on their own team. So they're going to be booing the net players. I already know what's going to happen in that game. So Brooklyn's just going to continue to lose and, we'll see what happens in a few weeks. All right, so now I'm going to be talking about the New York Knicks. Okay, this week they had started their 5-game road trip. Okay, the first game was against the Miami Heat. Yes, last Friday, Miami came into New York in They came to New York to play for the NBA Cup. That game was crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Um, like the thing is, the Knicks didn't have Brunson because Brunson was out with the ankle, but the Knicks did lose Ananobi, who strained his hamstring in the first half in that game, and the game was like neck and neck after that. Like the Knicks were afraid. They were afraid that, after losing Ananobi, how they're supposed to win because Ananobi averages close to like 20 points per game this season. So it's like when you lose that and also his defense, it makes it hard for the team to win. But in that cup game, Towns scored nearly 40 points. He had 39 points in that game. If he had made one more free throw, he probably would have had 40. But it is what it is. But he was hitting threes from everywhere. Even the commentators, because the game was on Prime Video. Even the commentators on Prime Video were like, "This dude is not going to just pull these threes," and he was hitting deep three pointers on the logo. I'm like, this is the cat that the Knicks need every single game. If he only could just find his shot, find his rhythm, play better defense, stop whining when he doesn't get the foul calls. Like, if the Knicks have a more aggressive Towns, they can win more games during this stretch. And also another person who was a unsung hero of this entire game was really Shamet. Shamet scored 36 points, which of course was actually his career high in that cup game. And yes, the Knicks did end up winning by 8 points. Part of it was because they kept on leaving people open for threes. I'm not going to lie. The 3-point defense is still a big issue for this team. Well, you could say yes because of injuries, like people like Ananobi being out. Some people who did not really get playing time from before are getting more playing time, and they're still like adjusting. I don't know, but they need to solve that 3-point defense because the 3-point defense has been bad for years, going back from the Thibodeau times. Like the 3-point defense was just lacking. But like like literally like their recent game they played against Dallas. Like the only reason why they kept Dallas in the game, Dallas who did not have like 8 players. The only reason why they kept them in the game is because they kept on leaving people open for threes. Najee Marshall was like open for like 5 3-pointers, and he hit like 4 of them. D'Angelo Russell, he hit a bunch of 3-pointers in the third quarter. And I'm like, where's the defense at? You're making D'Angelo Russell look like a superstar, but he's nothing more than just a washed up point guard. Like, I was like, when I was watching that game the other day on Wednesday, I was like, Knicks, do not lose this game on national TV. You're literally giving a team that is tanking life. Even Cooper Flag did not play that game. I'm not going to lie. If he was playing, the Mavericks probably would have lost by even more because Cooper Flag, they give him a lot of shot attempts and he don't be hitting them. Well, part of it is because he's a rookie, but maybe they probably told him to just sit out the game because they say he was feeling sick, and he probably said it was a good thing. But it is what it is. But the thing is, the Knicks, they almost lost to the Mavericks. Like, if they had lost to the Mavericks that night, people would have said that the Knicks are a joke. And the Knicks, they were trying to win their first game on the road. Good thing that they actually managed to win their first game on the road. Like, the thing is, Towns didn't really have his best game, but he did have some good moments in that game. He did dunk over Daniel Gafford, which of course was one of the notable plays of the game from his side. Also Brunson, he came back from his ankle injury. He played against the Dallas Mavericks. He almost scored 30. He looked a little like rusty out there in the beginning, but he had like a big third quarter, so that's why he had about 28 points. Josh Hart had a double-double off the bench. He had 16 points, 11 rebounds, a couple assists. Jordan Clarkson had 8 points off the bench. Yabusele had 4 points off the bench. McBride had 11 points off the bench. Basically, the bench production wasn't that bad, but Clarkson didn't really have his like best game, but he was hitting some very tough shots. Also, a problem that was shown in the game was the missed free throws. They said the Knicks missed about 14 or 15 free throws throughout that entire game. Even in the clutch, they were up by 2. They fouled Landry Shamet. Shamet missed 2 free throws. Well, technically, I think it was Robinson before as no, it was Shamet. Shamet missed both his free throws. And then the Knicks had to go back on defense. They had to guard the Maverick players because the Maverick players were going to shoot threes to take the lead. Klay Thompson shot a 3. It was an air ball. Robinson caught it, but they fouled him immediately. And it's like when they put him into the line, I was like, man, it's giving me flashbacks from last year where they did the hack a Mitch in the playoffs, and Robinson will throw an air ball because he can't hit a free throw. And I'm like, and he missed both free throws too. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I don't know if I want to watch the rest of this game because I was afraid that the Knicks were actually going to lose that game. But for the grace, by the grace of God, they actually won because they basically won off an offensive foul call. The Mavericks were trying to tie the game. This little unknown guard by the name of Brandon Williams, he was trying to score on Shamet on the fast break, and apparently he put his arm by Shamet's like side, like his rib side or whatever like that, and because of that they called offensive foul even though he did make the layup, is because he hooked him. That's basically what it came down to. And people are there saying, oh, the Knicks won because of that call in the end. Well, yes, but even though it was a very weird win, a win is a win nonetheless. And also, if I have to be honest, this was actually Brunson's first time winning in Dallas as a member of the New York Knicks. And the crazy thing is that it took the Knicks 3 years to win in Dallas. Like what? Like that's just music to my ears. I'm just being honest. Like that's just surreal. But yeah, so it basically was his first time winning in Dallas, even though the Knicks have beaten the Mavericks when Brunson was a member of the Knicks, but this was actually the first time he won in Dallas because but it looks like, it's emotional every time he plays in Dallas because Brunson knows that if Dallas, pushed a little harder in negotiations with him in free agency, he would have still been a Maverick. But the Mavericks kept on lowballing him, underestimating him. They never saw his potential. They never saw him evolve to become a superstar. But that's really it. It's like, but Brunson is happy where he's at. But he said in the post game that the Knicks have a lot of work to do. Yes, they do. And without Anunoby, I don't know. Some players got to step up even more. Like, question is, who's going to step up? Well, I'm starting to see Shamet get more comfortable hitting his threes. Like in the game against the Mavericks, he did hit 2 clutch 3-pointers to beat the Mavericks. So it's like, I feel like they're going to be fine, but they do have a tough assignment on Saturday against the Orlando Magic, who have recently been on a winning streak. Franz Wagner is going crazy wearing a mask, and there's no Paolo Banchero, but the team is very physical and big. Well, I'm not going to lie. The Knicks, you're coming into a hostile environment in Orlando. Good thing that you got Knicks fans over there. There's a lot of Knicks fans in Florida. They call it MSG South for a reason because there's a lot of Knicks fans there. All I could say is get your get back. They beat you up in the Garden last week. Go into Orlando and just smack them around. Beat them by at least 15 points. Because I'm not going to lie. Them Orlando Magic players, including Jalen Suggs, all they like to do is talk smack. Go into their building and just smack them, blow them out. Because I'm not going to lie, The Orlando Magic, I don't know why the hell they think they're so good, but they have not been out of the first round in decades. Like literally, just go in there and beat them up and tell Suggs to shut up because Suggs always like to talk a lot, but his game is terrible. Like, bruh. But my prediction for that game is that it's probably going to be it's probably maybe a close game or a blowout. I don't know. If the Knicks can play good defense and if they can hit their threes, they can win that game. So that's all I have to say for today. All right, so this is the end of the episode. I will be back. It may be in about the next like 2 weeks or something. Yeah. So this is Mike Talks NY Sports. I'm Michael Walters, and have a great day and happy Thanksgiving to everyone.